In this video, we're going to be using the Creator Set to do a build-along project, and that project is the traffic light project from the Algorithm Adventures module in the Creator Set Playground course. So to begin, we're going to grab the components that we're going to need for this project, and they will be from our Creator Set, and those components include our base shield, the Arduino itself, one cable, and the LCD RGB backlight. So once you have your 4 components, you're ready to start the project. So the first step of this project is we are going to connect our base shield to the Arduino itself. You'll notice on the Arduino that we have these yellow portions here. These are to help connect the pins of the base shield to our Arduino, so we have one cohesive unit that we can easily connect various components to using these different ports on the base shield. So those ports, as you can see here, we have digital ports denoted by the D, we have analog ports denoted by the A, and we have integrated circuit ports as well. So what we're going to do is we're simply going to line up the pins from our base shield and connect it very gently to the Arduino itself. So I recommend just kind of lining them up, making sure everything's aligned, and then just kind of slowly rocking it into place. We definitely don't want to apply too much pressure to this process, as that could lead to bent pins and other issues associated with that. So once we have our assembled Arduino and base shield, we're going to set that to the side. Then we are going to take our cable here, and you'll notice that if this is the first time you've opened your kit, you'll notice that every cable comes with a rubber band. I highly recommend holding on to those because it makes it really useful for cable management. So just go ahead and remove that rubber band, but hold on to it. And then unwrap your cable, and you'll notice it's pretty kinked up from being wrapped that way. So just kind of gently unbend the cable. There we go. And now what we're going to do is, you'll notice both ends are the same, and we're going to plug one end into the port here on our LCD RGB backlight. So go ahead and connect that. Perfect. So now once that's connected, we are going to connect the other end of our cable into an integrated circuit port here on our base shield. So it can be any one. There are 4 at the bottom here. I'm going to choose this one here. And once you have plugged the other end of your cable in, as shown, you are ready to move on to the next step, which is connecting our USB cable to the Arduino itself. So the USB cable came with your kit. There are 2 ends of this cable. We have the standard USB cable here, that's what's going to get plugged into your device. And then we have the micro USB end here, and that gets plugged into the Arduino itself. So if you look at the Arduino, again, it's on the bottom here, the red one. We have that micro USB port here. You also notice there is a cable connection here. This is for if you want to power your Arduino project with a 9-volt battery, and we provide that cable as well. But for the purpose of this project, you don't need it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to unwrap our cable, our USB cable that is. And once we've got our cable unwrapped, we are going to take that micro USB end of the cable and plug it into the Arduino here. Once you hear it click into place, you're ready to go. And the next step is to simply plug the USB end of the cable into your device. So go ahead and do that, and then we're ready to move on to the next step of our project, which is building out the program portion of the project. Once you've completed building the traffic light circuit, we're going to move on to programming the project to make the traffic light change from red to yellow to green. So let's go ahead and open up the Arduino IDE. Now remember from early on setting this up, if you're a Mac or PC user, you're going to be using the Arduino IDE program on your device that you would have previously downloaded. And if you are using a Chromebook, you will be logging into your account that you created in the Arduino Cloud to access the Arduino editor. So from there, we're going to copy the code template that we provide for you underneath that part 2 of Program the Project. So copy that code, open your editor in whatever sketch you're in this case this is just a brand new sketch, and paste that code. So once you've done that, you can go ahead and minimize, because we're just going to be going from here on out in the editor here. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the template program that we've put together for you. So there are going to be some components of this code that are not yet complete, and we'll take a look at those here. But ultimately what we're programming is to change the color of the LCD RGB display to red, to yellow, to green. So you can see that here. We'll also program it to initially set the backlight to white, and ultimately that's pretty much it. So to start our project, we're actually going to open a new tab in Google. So go ahead and open your browser and just go to google.com. Once you're there, go ahead and type in RGB color picker. And Google has this kind of built-in tool that we can use to generate different RGB or red, green, blue colors. So with an RGB color picker here, we are going to, anytime we move this little white cursor around, we're going to change the color. We can also drag the slider to find a color as well. And so when we drag it here, let's just look at white for example. So if you drag the cursor to the upper left hand corner, so it's pure white, you'll notice that the RGB code for that color, white, is 255, 255, 255. So white is the presence of all colors. So when we talk about RGB, we're talking about these specific values as it relates to color. So let's go ahead and move it all the way across here, and let's make it red. So red, which in RGB stands for red, green, blue, 255 is the highest value that red, green, blue can have. And so let's go to something completely different, such as purple. So purple, as you can see, has 183 values of red, 0 green, and 255 of blue. So if we made it more of a pinky purple color, you can see that those values change. If we went to more of a teal, you'll see the red goes away entirely. We've got our green that's been bumped up there in value, and blue as well. So ultimately what we're going to do is use this color picker to pick out our traffic light colors, which again are red, yellow, and green. So the first one we're going to grab here is red. And it can be, for this example, I'm going to do a pure red. We use this example in the instructions as well. So a pure red is 255, 0, 0. So what we're going to do is come back here and locate our code that is programming the red light, and we're simply going to type that in. So 255, 0, 0, and that's going to give us that red. Next up is yellow. So yellow is a little bit subjective because you have a more gold yellow here, but another way you can use this tool is you can actually just go ahead and type down here. So I'm going to go a true yellow, which is 255, 255, and 0. You can also just copy and paste this value for that color, and we're just going to paste it in there as shown. Finally, we have green. Again, could be pretty subjective, but ultimately if we just went 0, 255, 0, that would give us kind of this lime green, so up to you, but for the purpose of this project, that's what we're going to put in. So we are almost done here. The only thing we have left to do is to set that white backlight color. So again, white is the presence of full value for red, green, and blue. So we can just copy and paste 255, 255, 255, and that is going to give us a backlight of white. So essentially we're starting with white, and then as soon as we start running our program, it's going to just cycle through red, yellow, and green. So you can also see we've got some comments in here that we're setting a delay timer of 5,000. So if we decrease this to 2,500, that is just simply going to modify how long that color is showing up here. So I'm just going to change that to 2,000 to match our other two. In the project, we don't really have students modify this, but for all intents and purposes, let's just do it anyway. So let's go ahead and do 1,500 for each of them, so it cycles through a little bit faster, and there we go. So now we're actually ready to compile this and upload it to our Arduino. If you are not already connected to your Arduino, go ahead and plug it into your device. In my case, I actually plugged it into a different port, so I need to set mine up. So we'll just go through that process right here. So what I'm going to do is, I know that it's in my COM5 port, so I'm going to select that. What I'll have to do then is assign what type of board it is, which is, it's an Arduino Uno. If I wasn't sure which port, serial port it was in on my device, I would simply just unplug it and replug it back in. And I can see it was that serial port, COM5. Just reselect that Arduino Uno and click OK. So once we have our board selected here, we're ready to verify and upload our code. So if you upload, it will both verify and upload the code to the Arduino. So go ahead and click upload. So it's compiling our sketch. Once it makes sure the code is good to go, it's going to upload it to the Arduino. We'll be able to see our traffic light in action. After you've uploaded the code to the Arduino itself, you'll notice that the LCD RGB screen starts to change color from red to yellow to green in a looping sequence over and over again. So that concludes this traffic light project. Again, this is just the starting point for that particular module. So we've given students what they need to be able to build this basic project. Now we want them to go on and create and innovate and problem solve, either on their own or in small teams. So in the coding challenge for this particular module, we are going to have students focus on the timing associated with the different colors, which of course correspond to different slow down, stop, go, as associated with traffic lights. That's what we have them do in the coding challenge. In the engineering challenge, we have them take this project, or they may want to completely innovate and come up with an intersection intervention. So it could be incorporating this light, it could be completely different using different components. We encourage students to use different classroom or household materials such as cardboard, construction paper, tape, string, all those different basic materials, and create some type of invention using, of course, what they learned in the project. So please feel free to reach out if you have any questions as it relates to this specific project or just getting started with the hardware that you have purchased. We are so excited to have you here, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.